I'm going to give you another reason why I think an extension for this player at this time is really important. I think if you look at the NBA landscape, right, the Sixers are a historical organization for a lot of reasons, been in a lot of, they've had iconic teams, iconic players, all of that.
Playing the best city in the world.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. But when you look at, so the teams that are always going to be able to attract free agents and, by extension, great players, very short list, right? Like the Lakers are one of them. Some of that is they've always won, but a lot of that is LA is very attractive to guys in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Miami is one of those teams. They have the market, they have the culture, they have the success. You have to ask yourself, all right, how does Philadelphia create a sustainably great organization? And to put it simply, it's having great players around that you command other great players to join them in a like greatness begets greatness type of thing, right? So like when you move Charles Barkley in 1992, you don't have an opportunity to get another high-level player for another 4 years. You draft Allen Iverson in 1996, and it takes you another 5 years to then get to the peak of that era. That's 9 years between losing Barkley and going on that finals run.
Also, 95, getting Jerry Stackhouse,
yes.
and that not necessarily working out the way.
I'm going to pull a Winona here. It is too soon to talk about that calamity of errors. Can't.
But so
happy Friday. 9
years between losing Barkley, getting to the finals, and then that's the high mark of that whole era. You trade Iverson, and it was 05 or 06. I think it was 05.
Okay.
One way or another. You move Iverson in that time period. You don't get another player like that for another 8 years, and he doesn't play for another decade until after Iverson left. And that power vacuum, that dearth of a great player to draw other great players, to give the organization stability as, look, they were a competitive team, right, with Iguodala and some of these other guys, but they're always picking in the mid-lottery. They never had an abundance of cap space except for when they're signing Elton Brand post-Achilles tear. And like you're never getting that premier class of players. And so having Joel to set that floor of you're going to win 50 games if he's healthy. You're going to have a puncher's chance against these really good teams. Like as much as it hurt to watch them choke in game 7 to not win that game 6 against Boston, they are there and they have a chance in that series because of him. And then Tyrese Maxey is able to come in and develop where he doesn't have to right away be a star, right? Like he could come in, be a sixth man, be a bench player, rise to a starting player, be James Harden's sidekick, and make that natural progression rather than being thrown into the mixer and say, you either survive or die immediately. And that can, even with his work ethic, even with his character, things can go completely awry. And so Joel is the guy who makes it possible for Tyrese Maxey to develop and then makes it possible for Paul George to want to come to Philadelphia, that Paul George can have in his head, not only am I getting money, which he could have gotten in a few places, I'm getting a real chance to go out and do the thing I haven't been able to do, which is to win a title. And so you keep stacking up these 50-win seasons, you keep getting closer and closer, you will have more guys who look at the Sixers as this is somewhere I want to be. I mean, Kelly Oubre, I think people scoffed at it last year. We was like, this is a winning organization. Like that's what they have been building as Joel Embiid has been there. Guys who are coming from the Charlottes, the Detroits, these other also-rans, they look at this as a place that wants to win and compete at a high level. And that is why it is so important to keep a guy like Joel Embiid, to make him feel like he is this organization, because you need that reputation to continue growing so that as players, future generations of players come into the league, become free agents, this is somewhere that they want to be. That has not historically been the case, but when they've gotten great players, it's when you have Julius Erving and Moses Malone says, yeah, I'd like to be traded there. I want to be with that type of guy. That's how Philadelphia becomes, I think, the team that, frankly, the organization believes they are, which is this important historical organization. And that's a big reason why I think You have to make a deal like this.
We all silly like the mayor.